Hello guys, in this video I want to talk about supplements. Is it worth paying more for supplements? Because you can find supplements at very cheap prices and some at 2 or 3 times more the price. And on the surface of it, it can seem like that you're paying just more for a very similar thing, which is not actually true. But before I go into and answering that question, the first thing I do want to say about nutrition and supplements is that the gold standard is always to get your nutrients from your foods as natural as possible, because nutrients exist in foods with other nutrients and other macronutrients to help you to try and absorb it. When we try and take the synthetic form out, it is a little harder for the body to absorb it, and it's not quite as natural. And my philosophy is the more natural, the better, because that's the way we've been designed. But when it comes to supplements, you do want to pay more money for it. And here's why. The first one is that the cheaper supplements tend to be the more synthetic forms. So if you take, for example, vitamin C, if it's very cheap, sometimes all they give you is ascorbic acid. And ascorbic acid is simply just part of the vitamin C, but not the whole thing. So the more natural, again, that you can get it, the better. So for example, if you're getting vitamin C, you're much better to get it in, there's a form where you can get lemon peel and they've dried it and put it into a tablet. And that is so much better, because what they've done is, as opposed to taking the synthetic vitamin, or they're just taking the vitamin by itself, and in this case, only part of it, what they've done is find a food that has it high in, and they've just taken that food and dried it and put it into a tablet, which is so much better because that food has other things in it and around it to help you try and absorb that nutrient. So that's the first reason, is you want it natural, not synthetic, and the cheaper ones normally are synthetic. The second reason why you want to spend more is because the cheaper ones tend to heat them up. And that's not the case for everyone, but for example, if you were going to take cod liver oil, the cheaper versions, they've heated it and they processed it, and essentially the more that you heat a nutrient, the more it tends to degrade. So this is also the case with raw foods versus cooked foods. It's not to say that it's bad to eat cooked foods, and you certainly do get nutrition from cooked foods, but you tend to get more nutrition from raw foods because the process of cooking tends to degrade the nutrients a little. So you definitely don't want it processed, and you definitely don't want it heated. So the more expensive nutrients tend to be less heated, or not heated at all, but you just pay a bit more money for that. The third reason why you don't want it to be cheap is because some of the cheaper ones tend to add things in, and sometimes a little bit unnecessarily. For example, they may add in sugar, which obviously you don't really want. So you don't want anything added in. And then the last thing to think about when you're buying supplements is you also want to buy the right form, and some forms tend to be more expensive than others. The most common example of this is going to be magnesium. So magnesium tends to have loads of forms. So you've got citrate, oxide, taurate, glycinate. And if you're interested in magnesium, I've actually done a video on this that you can see just here, I think. Yeah, so you want to make sure you get the right form. So when it comes to magnesium, different forms will be good for different things. So it all depends on why you're taking it, as to then which form you may want. And some forms are just going to be a bit more expensive. But some forms you kind of want to avoid as well. So you definitely want to look into it. So basically what I'm trying to say here is, don't just go for the cheap supplements. There is a reason why it's more expensive. Look into, if you want to take a supplement, look into what you want to take it for, what you're trying to accomplish with it, and then research the best type of form for that goal that you're trying to go for. But always worth going more expensive, but better than that, always worth going natural, so getting it into your food. So it's always much better to look for foods that have this nutrient that is naturally high in it, and trying to intake more of that particular food. The advantage of supplements, of course, is that you can get a high dose, you can get it very easily, and you can get it consistently, and you can measure it a lot better. So it's quite good for a trial. If you're thinking that you're deficient in a certain mineral or vitamin and this is causing a certain symptom, then you can take the supplement, take it for a few months and see whether it changes your symptom. And if it doesn't, then chances are that you weren't deficient. But if you don't take a good form of it, then it's going to be very hard for you to know whether at the end of it, it was because you didn't take a good form and your body wasn't absorbing enough, or was it that you weren't actually deficient in it and you didn't need it anyway and it wasn't the cause. So they're my thoughts on supplements, and I hope that's helpful. Any questions or comments, then please do put them down below. And if you are new here, then feel free to subscribe if you like this type of content. My name's Dr. Steven Hulme. I'm a chiropractor. I'm currently based in the Oxfordshire area, and I'm just in an area where I often go for a walk in amongst the woods, which is a really nice area. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you on my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.